Hello everybody, welcome back to Gerhard Supply TV, episode 2. Thank you so much for all your support. The response to last week's video was way better than expected. Our first time ever doing anything like that. And yeah, we're thrilled with the response and all the feedback. We're gonna keep that momentum going with another week here, doing a similar format, quick walkthrough of the shop, new arrivals, doing a deep dive into our collaboration with Buttero and our new Tonino sneakers. Lang here is going to be showing you some of those new arrivals, and we're going to get started.
Yeah, I'll take you into it right now. Let's go.
Cheers.
We'll start with Reigning Champ. In addition to this sort of heavy knit but perforated short sleeve tees and polos, we've also got what's called the Cruise Polo. So this is a very, you want to get in close to that, James? It's a very thick fabric, but heavily perforated. Like you can see the black tag sort of swinging around in there, but again, it's not see-through. Like you're not telescoping through this.
Very breathable.
Yeah, but it feels, think of it like a short sleeve sweater almost. Like it's substantial, but it's very perforated. You've got it in the white colorway. You've got it in the navy. Same idea, both. Washed chino caps, you know, simple, nothing crazy. Naked and Famous gave us a couple new releases. We've got and I'll do a deep dive on all of the denims later, because there's a long story for each one. I could do a whole segment on their jeans. This week we're doing Buttero. We've got the chocolate milk, made with real milk, selvage. It's not available yet online. Naked and Famous has a strict release schedule, but we can display it in store. So this one's going to be an in-store exclusive.
Don't forget the chocolatey inside.
With the chocolate milk interior, yeah. And then we've got the green cast stretch selvage. Same thing. This is an in-store exclusive, so we don't have it yet online, but we do have it in store if the heads want to come take a look. And then the one that we have had in store for a while that we just released online is the Secret Agent denim. It is a very rare example of a bleached denim from Naked and Famous, which is categorically a raw denim company. There's a jean jacket to match from Naked and Famous in the Secret Agent bleached denim. Ba-boom. We've got the Jungle Jacquard Aloha shirt. Breezy again, you've got the jacquard, so like a woven pattern. And that's the small hit from Naked and Famous. So small hit from Naked and Famous, small hit from Reigning Champ. Come along with me and I'll show you the Echezenia box that we have here as well. We've got the 110 fit, which is their slim flat front in 4 different peached cottons. You've got a navy, a charcoal, a pink, and a tan. We've got a cotton linen. This is a bit more heft in the 122. The 122 is a relaxed taper with a double pleat front. So this one is, again, it's a cotton linen blend. We've got kind of an army green and off-white or natural, whatever you want to call it. You've got the 122s again, so relaxed taper, double pleat front. And this one is in a seersucker, which is that sort of texture which is designed to lift as much fabric off the skin as possible. And it is in a tropical wool. So as the name suggests, that is a wool that works in a summer context. And then we've got these really nice sort of 125s, which is their same as the 122, but relaxed with a little bit less waist architecture, but still with the pleats. And these ones are real indigo dyes, so getting close to this. These are, the indigo is obviously gonna get a little bit of transference, but yeah, this is all real indigo. It's gonna fade and transfer kind of like jeans, but it's in a dress pant fit, so it should be super fun. Okay, so I said I wanted to do a deep dive on a brand, product, a topic every week, and so this week we're gonna spotlight Buttero. Buttero is an Italian footwear manufacturer that we've been working with almost since day one. I think they joined our roster in 2013. Buttero doesn't just design footwear, they manufacture to the extent that others will contract Buttero to execute their designs. So Buttero are making for others as well as producing a small in-house label for themselves, often at a much more attractive price point than the exact same things that they're manufacturing for others. So really high value proposition there as well, in addition to the quality. Buttero is very well known in the, and has historically been in the raw denim community as well, because of their, this sneaker that I'm holding right now, for example, is veg tanned, no dye. This is the color of the meat. and it picks up a really nice patina. It darkens. People sometimes even wear these things barefoot to just let the sweat kind of, it sounds crazy, but the sweat makes it dark in spots where you have high contact. It really kind of falls into that like denim fade world. Like here, just get this. You kind of get the idea? Mm-hmm. So that's the world that we're kind of we're dealing with, and how they were when I started with them. Now, there was some support for this move, but there were a few complaints over the past few years that Buttero was a little bit more trend driven, and they were leaning into that look with the really blocky sole. I guess that dad sneaker trend that people were really pursuing for a few years there. And when I last talked to Buttero at the Paris show that we do a lot of our buying at, I was informed that the grandkids of the original founders had taken over complete sort of design, creative control of the Buttero brand. And that one of the main things that they wanted to do was move away from like fashion trend-driven styles. Not that their fashion trend-driven styles weren't great. Like I really like some of those designs. But they're really returning to the basics. And another thing that they wanted to do, in addition to returning to the basic classic unlined styles, is return to the really beefy, heavy leathers that worked really well in that unlined context. By unlined, like if you want to get in close here, the lighting's good here. So you see, most sneakers would have like this is a thick piece of leather. It's just one piece of leather. Most sneakers are made where what you would do is you would take this leather and you would split it like an onion. So you would split it basically to a skin, and then you would wrap that skin around a piece of styrofoam to make it soft and comfortable. So yes, it is real leather, but it's thin split and wrapped around styrofoam to make it comfortable. Buttero's whole thing has been and will be now, as they sort of return to their heritage, the thick, full grain, heavy leather, much of it undyed and unpainted, so that it just shows the true color of the leather in order to like patinate and pick up a really good, let's call it a personality with time. I'm very honored to say that we've been able to do an exclusive Gerhard only collaboration with Buttero, which I thought really speaks to this new direction. So what we've done is we did 2 different collaborative leathers. Again, these are, you're only going to find these at Gerhard. No other place in the world has these. This was my way of speaking to that idea of the Tenino, which is their classic sort of unlined full grain leather tennis shoe that they've been making since the 1970s and are now reprioritizing. But what this is a very light finish. So colored leather is always painted. So it's like if you buy lilac colored sneakers, that is a finish. It's sort of like a paint application that has been put on over the leather. So what I wanted to do was a really light finish. So this one is a very light black finish on top of the leather that we also asked them to tumble. So these sneakers have actually, you can see the sort of, I don't know, but distressing isn't quite the right word. Maybe it's exactly the right word. They were tumbled before the sole was put on, just to kind of get some of the finish off already and show what is possible to eventually come through. So again, the whole idea here is full grain leather, classic style, and a black that is designed to expose the brown core over time, and a white that is designed to expose the brown core over time. I'll just put these into the light box, James, so you can really see the black here. Like that's a really good fade spot where the brown is coming through. And then on the white one, you can see where all the brown is coming through on that. So another really good way to illustrate that, stay close, is with these Obby Good Label belts. This belt here, Obby Good Label sent us a sample of this. It's what's called a T-core, is when you get sort of like a black tea sort of finish as the black exposes the brown underneath. So what you see here to here is very much what you can expect here. It's already kind of started, but imagine this as being the final result here, and if you can kind of picture what that would do in white. I'm actually wearing a pair right now that's a little bit more beaten up. Here, you can get in close to those. That's a little bit more beaten up. just to kind of show the patination that's possible with time.
So I just want to do a quick show and tell of one of my very old pair of Butteros. These are the Futuras. I believe I picked them up in 5 years ago at this point. I have seriously worn the shit out of them. They have gone through bartending and just 4 straight seasons of wear. When I commit to a pair of shoes, I just keep it going. So this was my white pair of shoes for the last 5 years. Wanted to bring these up just to show some of the natural patina that happens over time, which we were speaking about with the Taninos there developing. So just to show you a pair of what that looks like over time, you can see that that natural leather is coming through, the darkened edges here, and even like right inside that veg tan sole. I haven't been wearing these.
The color, like that would have started in that really blonde color.
Yeah, no, exactly. I didn't wear my feet barefoot in here, but nonetheless, a lot of darkening with that leather inside. And just want to highlight also, when you buy a pair of shoes like this, you will be wearing them for a long time. They really go a long way.
Yeah. Okay, quick fit check. Let's just show this thing in context. I've got the collaborative white low finish Butteros that are designed to really expose their core and show the natural leather underneath with time. This is kind of an idea of what you could wear them with, and you know they really fit into the world of raw denim, so that's what I wore with them today. People will clown me for this, but I'm wearing Super Guys, and I refuse. I refuse to update. Everyone wants True Guy now. People are asking for Strong Guy. I'm talking wider, wider, wider. I refuse. I refuse. You can bury me in Super Guys. And then, of course, I've got the double heavy fox fiber hoodie from Wonderlooper. This is all kind of the ecosystem that the Buttero Taninos fit into.
Good.
And a quick note regarding sizing. People get their size wrong in Buttero all the time because they don't fit the way you'd expect. You got to size down. I mean, Common Projects is usually the EU-sized brand that people are most familiar with. If you're a 42 in CP, you get a 41 in Buttero. You always, always, always size down, especially in the unlined styles. There's a lot of room inside these shoes because they're unlined. There isn't padding taking up extra space in the width and in the length. And they're just bigger to begin with. Like if you take a pair of 42 Common Projects and a pair of 42 Butteros and you put them sole to sole and they're built on the same sole, the Buttero is a little bit longer. So I'm not quite sure why they do that, but they're quite big. I find that you can size down Buttero Taninos, like the unlined styles. I've gone down 1.5. So I am a Brannock, this is a Brannock device. I am an 8.5 US Brannock. Which would correlate with a 41.5 EU. In Buttero Taninos, I will happily buy a 40 all day. So normally in Buttero, I size down 1. In the Buttero Tanino, I will size down 1.5.
Quick fit check for myself here. I'm going to be showing the black sneakers, but starting from the top, I have the In Situ Yellow Tuque. Very vibrant, going with a nice vibrant blue. Outclass made this beautiful herringbone button up. And I have on the left-hand twill, Easy Guys. I like a bit more room in the thigh. Got some nice fades going on. That's a good year of wear.
Actually, yeah.
A lot of cycling really wears the knees in. And then on the bottom, we have the
And again, this is not
Taninos.
the black Tanino. This is the collaborative black that we did with the very light finishing.
which will fade into that worn brown.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. Until next time.